Alright, am I alive? That is an important question. I am indeed. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Hope everything looks good on y'all's end as good as it looks on mine. Yes, welcome, everyone. So recently I received a commission, which I always love to receive. If anyone would ever like to commission me to paint any of their, paint any miniature you'd like me to, I have open commissions always. Prices are always negotiable, and you know I always like to work with a client and what they have for a budget, and I got commissioned to, as you guys saw in the thumbnail, to do a custom Sanguinius model. Now, the actual sculpt seems to be produced by a artist or a set of artists called Artel. I have never done one of their minis before, but it's clearly resin. And this commission was made by a previous commissioner of mine and an audience member by the name of Mantis Kinden, also known as Matthew Gordon, who just jumped in the chat. How you doing, man? Howdy. So, yeah, I just got commissioned to do this, and I got to say, I haven't had, I just opened the box, so you guys are more or less getting my fresh reaction to the sculpt here. And I gotta say, hold on, let's zoom in on the head here. I gotta say, I'm already kind of impressed by that. Look at that. And the sculpt is really detailed, so hats off to the sculptor and the artists behind Artel. Because that is a beautiful looking model. I kind of like the exposed hair at the back too. It kind of being a faceplate, more or less. Although some people would probably go, well, that's not very practical. What if he's in space? It's 40k. Gilliman lasted in the middle of the pseudo atmosphere just around a ship for a few minutes and punched a hole in a word bearer. I think we can get away with having the hair exposed on a helmet. But yeah, like I'm actually pretty impressed. Just, you know, the initial eyeballing. Welcome Daniel Lindsay. Welcome Havoc. Jenny was here earlier. Hope she's still here. Yeah, I think that's everybody. Oh, Daniel. What's up? So doing Hawk Daddy tonight. Hawk Daddy? I don't know. Hawk Daddy. Angel Daddy. We're doing Sanguinius. A custom and I have done a Sanguinius model before. Although I did the GW/Forge World official model. This is my first time doing a custom one. So, that even comes with a base. I'm not gonna lie, like, just looking at this stuff, there's lots I can do with this. This is gonna be... This is not good for me, because... Matthew, since I have you in the chat, I'm going to be asking you questions live, if that's alright, about certain things. Because I know you kind of gave me a very much of a, like, an open blanket, like, approach to this. But I do want to make sure, like, I do a customization set that you actually want, man. And I gotta say, I'm also not sure what's construction material on this and what is from the sprue equivalent. Look at this model. It doesn't look like it. I don't see layering like you would normally see from like a home printer. This looks like it's Forge World style fine cast, although clearly more well done than actual fine cast. Ironically. I don't know. It looks like this is a better version of the type of printing Forge World does. I know the name of it, it's just escaping my brain at the moment. Shoot. Filament printing? No, filament printing. Well, the type of printing mold, injection molding. Sorry, finally, that came back to my brain. This looks like it's resin injection molding. Because normally, like, what you would see on a sculpt that was done with, like, an at-home 3D printer, like the one I have, it's made layer by layer with, like, a build plate. And because of that, there's almost always, like, lines. And on really high-end printers, they're really hard to see, but even on the really hard-to-see ones, there's very apparent, like, construction lines. that kind of like show you each and every single layer that was constructed with it. This does not have any, unless they're extremely minute, but it visibly, it doesn't seem to have any printer lines. So I'm pretty sure this was done with resin injection molding. So if it was, that's got the upsides and its downsides. Upside is it doesn't have the same flaw with, you know, at-home printers, resin printers, SLA printers, because those have those construction lines, and even if you paint over them, they show through the paint. So that bothers some people. Again, if you have a high enough end printer, they're very, very, like, basically you'd have to get a magnifying glass to see them. So, But yeah, looking at these, I definitely don't see the construction lines. It's safe to say this is injection molding. Yeah, so just kind of, that's definitely construction material, safe to say. So let's snip these off. Now, I will say my goal is to get to the painting process today. This is a commission, so I can't take my time with it as much. I'm going to take all the necessary time to make it as high-end, high quality as possible, of course. But I also want to get it out in a timely manner for my client, which is, again, Matthew Gordon in the chat. The wings look very detailed. They are. Like, you can see each groove on, like, each of the, like there's texturing on each of the feathers, which is really nice, and that'll help show through the paint. There's even, like, little, like, divots or closer to the wing's actual structure there, which I like. Even subtle little, like, bands and straps and stuff in it, giving it some extra detail. Yeah, I gotta say, like, after looking over this, I might need to check out Artel and ask them to, or check out, see if they have other custom variations of Primarchs and other stuff, because I might get their Rogel Dorn if they have something equivalent to that. Alright, I'm gonna try and carefully snip that off. Sorry if this light is super aggressive. Let me lower the light. There we go. Since we're working with very bright colored resin here, it's probably better if I don't have the light so blinding. Hey Zoid, how you doing? But my hair don't need to breathe. Yep. Down for questions, I ain't going nowhere. Okay, good. First things first, I'm carefully removing the construction material from the... Let me set the wings aside here, because I'm not sure. That looks like construction material right there, but I gotta be careful with how I screw with that, because that is the downside when you're looking at these, like, especially since there's no instructions to go off of based on construction, and I am going to be doing sub-assembly since it is a commission, so that kind of works out anyway. I'll probably just leave that construction material on and snip it off for when I'm ready to put Sanguinius together. We'll say, since it is resin, I'm going to use a less fine. Like, normally you guys see me use, like, the sanding sticks. But because this is resin, I'm going to use a more aggressive, just nail file. I'll smooth that out. I'll be here in and out making dinner. Yeah, that's fine. How you been doing anyway, Jenny? Like, recovery go smoothly? I know I haven't talked to you in a while, especially after all that stuff. I got busy. Life overtook me quite a bit around that time. But I did see and respond to when you got out and said you were recovering. But I'm wondering how that's going, so hope you're doing well. I'm here within a minute of receiving the notification. Good. YouTube's actually doing its job. Thank you, YouTube. Trying to make sure that is clearly off. Noble Shield, welcome to the stream. Excited to see how it turns out. Looks like a fantastic model. It does. I will say, like, the preview image of, like, a fully assembled one that is on the thumbnail, that looks great. The paint job obviously looks amazing, but the sculpt alone looks fantastic. This is one of those models where you could paint it with really basic colors, but because of all the detail, it'll look sexy anyway. Doing good. Was getting ready to work on a short story to upload to DeviantArt. Interesting. When you announce the stream on Discord, so I'll do it afterwards. Hey, you can work on it at the same time. I don't know if you can multitask for like creative writing at the same time. I've been able to do that in the past, but that's me. I am a quirky individual. So kind of just previewing the base here. So question for Matthew Gordon for your commission, man. I have an idea of what I can do with the excess space around the base. And this is just an idea for right now. But I can fill that in with blood. Or effectively blood. So a cool thing about the Blood for the Blood God Citadel technical paint is once it dries, it kind of holds its shape extremely well. Worst case scenario, I could look into sealing it in with resin. But again, like, from my experience using Blood for the Blood God and letting it dry completely, it becomes pretty hard. Like, it becomes... Like, when it's initially drying, it's still like a gel. But once it completely dries, it's pretty solid. So... And once you seal that in with a... I will say the downside is if you use Blood for the Blood God and you want to seal it in with a varnish, the varnish does kind of take away the full blood effect that you're looking for with Blood for the Blood God. That is the downside with it. So I would have to put it over a varnish. Which means it could be potentially shredded off a little bit. But yeah, I could do a blood pool around the rock outline. That's just an idea though right now. As for proper ideas, if you want, I can put... I have a number of heads to work with. I have like orc heads. I have a couple Space Marine heads left, although I don't have the helmet ones. I used up all my helmet ones on my own World Eaters recently. But I can put Necron heads. I can put orc heads. I think I'm gonna have some spare Berserker heads I can put there for World Eaters. There's a number of, like, you know, little bits and bobs I can add to the base. And you go. Painting that sweet Sanguinius. No. Fulgrim, it's Fulgrimussy. Sanguine Chad, Fulgrimussy. Come on, bro, going to sleep myself. Alright, go to sleep. Rest. Yeah, I'm not on the painting stage yet. Just figuring out the structure of this thing. I can probably... In terms of actual construction right now, I can glue that to this base. And then put bits and bobs on it. That's like one of the few things... I'm actually not doing... I'm going to do it in sub-assembly. So, cool thing with that... If I have my thing here. So, I have this foam... It's probably better to show it on the webcam. So, I have these foam boards... And what I'm going to do is using these skewers with an Allen or an alligator clip at the end, I'm going to essentially clip on bits and bobs, and then I'm going to stab it into the foam board. And then when I'm priming the individual parts for painting, I'm just going to basically carry them all away on this board. The first things first, I'm going to put the wings on, as they are. I'm not going to remove the construction material until after painting, because I don't know how much of that I actually want to strip off. And I got to be careful with how much I strip off, because some of it might actually be part of the proper, you know, gluing and assembly process. That is the downside with fine cast and not having instructions. It's not quite clear how everything attaches itself. There's a little bit of figuring that out. So, but the wings, pretty easy clip. Again, clip, pretty solid. You know, shake it, doesn't come off. I'm gonna put the other wing down here. Oh, right. There you go. So kind of like that. Like all of them are gonna go on that, and then I'm gonna prime them from there, and then individually paint them after that's done. So let me set that down over here. Hey, sci-fi guy, I got this miniature a few months back. It is gorgeous, but if you're going to do the spear, be careful. They had a slight curve I didn't notice. Well, let me see here. And that is the question for Matthew Gordon. Yes, you were right, actually. There is a slight curvature. It's curving that way. Yeah, it's very subtle, though. I will say that. I'd have to okay, so Matthew Gordon. My good man, Matthew. Very good question I have for you. How do you want this assembly-wise? The wings I'm definitely putting on. Like, I think that's necessary for Sanguinius, of course. But in terms of, like, loadout, what is it you're looking for? I would say. Oh, wait, no, hold on. It comes with a head I can put on the base. Ooh. Okay. Well. So, and also, I guess that follow-up question, would you like me to use this demon head on the base? It would be appropriate, because it's like the bloodthirster that Sanguinius felled at the Battle of Terra. When he faced off against the beast. Alright. Me chip away and listen nasty shit. Theoretically, if I were to commission you to paint Ushuron, Mortarch of Delusion, what would you charge for it? Well, let me look up the model, so I can answer that question. Ushuron. Because it usually comes down to the complexity of the model, and also the complexity of the paint job you want. Okay. Big vampire dude with, like, bony crown type thing, armor, big cape, hunchback. I got the right model? His spear ain't straight. No, it is not straight. I like the spear. I would like the spear. The demon head, too, would be epic. Okay, so you do want the spear. Dang. Okay, so I'm going to need to get my blow dryer. Yeah, because that is slightly skewed that way. Shit. Alright, let's see if I can find my blow dryer. I think I know where it is. Alright. I think I found it. Yeah. Okay. Where's my extension cord? Great. It's all the way below my feet. Precisely? Okay. So looking at the model, I would say I'd probably charge for the best that I can produce. I'd probably charge the same amount I'd charge for a Primarch model. So about 225 bucks, give or take. I mean, that's how much, for context, that's how much Matthew Gordon charged for this. Oh, I charged him for this, which he was very generous in paying up front. So thank you for that, Matthew, by the way. I appreciate it. But, yeah, around 225 for like a high-end model for the painted to the best of my ability. Highly detailed. That's usually my go-to. So I managed, as I mentioned it, the spear has to fit in between the darn and feathers of the wing. The what? The darn. Wait, did you mean to say the darn feathers of the wings, or did you mean to say the darn, or the... Wait, what? Just trying to make sure I understand your sentence. Now, let me plug this bad boy in and see if I can correct the slight skew. I will also mute my mic while I do it. And I'll turn the... There's going to be a lot of playing with my audio for here for a second. Actually, can you guys hear that? Because if not, maybe I don't have to turn off my mic. Hey, Paris. Nope. Can't hear it. Okay. Yes, the feathers. Okay. Okay, feathers. Alrighty. That was stupid of me. Even propane is gonna be stupid now, and then good thing everything caught. Alright, I'll do it over here. Alright. I heated it up just enough that I think I straightened it. That or I just skewed it the other way. I think I might have skewed it the other way. I don't know, does that look straighter? I'll get a second opinion since I'm streaming this. Also try not to break it. The beauty of working with resin, folks. This is actually a necessary tool. I mean, it's better than fine cast. It looks straight on one of the lines. Good point. Alright, so it's on one of the lines. Looks pretty straight to me. If I'd say if anything, it has a very, very slight curvature as it goes that way, but it's really subtle. Yeah. I think that looks right. Close, Matthew's call. True. Matthew, this is your commission, man. Do you think that's straight enough, or you want me to blast it again? Looks straight. Oh, I hope the other dudes didn't break. Oh, yeah, I guess I should give you credit, or not just credit, but thank you publicly for this. Yeah, in addition, kind of as a tip, on top of paying for the commission, Matthew Gordon was kind enough to give me 2 Ravage Star dudes. And one of them kind of broke. This one, his, like, flag hand came off, but that's really easy to fix. And yeah, but the other one seems to be fully intact. So they came back great. The one downside with you giving me these is now that I have 2 and they feel really out of place. Now I feel like I have to track down an actual box. And I looked up the Ravage Star stuff, and I thought they had already opened a shop where they were like selling, you know, by the order, like box sets of the Ravage Star stuff. But no, it was a campaign, and the campaign's over with. So if I want to find like a Ravage Star box and want to get the minis, I have to go to eBay. I have to find secondhand. I was able to find a box secondhand, but it's like $200, which like blew me away. I was like, what the fuck? Granted, that's still better like than buying. For the sheer miniature count that I saw in the box, you're getting pretty good bang for your buck compared to GW, but that's still a lot. It's like it's 200 goddamn bucks. It's more than a combat patrol. And granted, the box has a little bit over what a combat patrol would have for sheer miniature number, but still a lot up front. And that's the cheapest I saw was that. Yeah, but that looks all straight, so. Yeah. So spear is one of the things you wanted. You wanted the demon head. Where the fuck did I put my nail file? Oh. For a second there, I was like, where the frig is my nail file? Alright, so let me sand off. Looks fine? Good, good. Wait, you said fine. Do you actually mean it means fine, or you're like, you just don't want to make a big deal out of it? If there's an issue, you tell me, young man. Even though I think you're older than me, but screw it. You tell me, young man, if there's an issue. I will not settle for anything less than my best, and if my best is not on display, I will put my best on my display. Otherwise, money back guaranteed. Fine as in straight to me. Okay. I was about to say better than GW, since I'm still paying off the Age of Darkness box set. You're paying it off? Oh, wait, did you get, like, a subscription thing? Or did you pay, like, the Amazon card thing, and they, like, let you do it? Or did you pay with PayPal? I know PayPal allows you to do, like, monthly payments for stuff. Which kind of, it feels awkward to do for something like the box sets. It's like, I'm paying my debt. Oh, student debt? No, I bought a GW product. Damn it, we have another one, guys. They should create rehab for people trying to quit, you know, Warhammer. Alright, everybody. Welcome to WA, Warhammer's Anonymous. So today, I think we should do some exercises and talking about anything but miniatures. Okay, but before we get started, did y'all notice that they just released that their Dorn Joy toy? Now, Matthew, what did we just say? Aye, woman, that isn't plastic crack necessarily. It's a Joy toy. It's different. It's the action figure. Matthew, we're here to try and get you guys off this stuff, okay? And they drag the guy out of the room. He's like, you guys are Nazis, man. I just love me my plastic crack. Shit. It fits. It does, doesn't it? Was about okay, yeah. Alright, let me sand it. Oh no, there's a little bit of curvature there. I might use a sanding stick there. Because I gotta be careful not to screw myself over. Okay. Yeah, I use a sanding stick so it'll shape with it. That's so funny. Add in where we are trying to get more in. Didn't we try to get more in? Not sure what you mean, my friend. Alright, let's try not to over sand it too, because I want it to be flush. I think that's pretty flush, so I'll set that there. Yeah. I don't know. So how was everybody's day today? Everybody have a good day? Good kosher afternoon? That's pretty good. Zip. More people in, I mean. Oh, okay. Just sat down after work, trying to get my brain started back up from work brain mode. Yes, the taxingness of work gets to us all. I will say this: today at work, it was pretty fucking boring in my end. It was painfully boring. Just a really long day. Tomorrow's gonna be a longer day, like objectively though, because tomorrow is Valentine's Day, and they asked me to work a double, so they can make sure to pad out the afternoon with as many people as necessary. And today alone, during the morning, I got a bunch of reservations. Well, the restaurant I work at doesn't do reservations. It does call ahead seating, which is very different, and it's very awkward having to explain to every customer the difference. Because every customer's like, I'd like to make a reservation for me and my wife, or me and my girlfriend. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. We don't do reservations, though. We do call-ahead seating. And they're like, well, what's the difference? And then you have to repeat the exact same shit over and over again. It's like, well, with reservations, we guarantee you this a specific spot, specifically in the restaurant, at the specific time that you provide, and we hold on to it for you, and we don't sit anybody there. With call-ahead seating, if there's a wait, you get put on the priority list, which means you go ahead of the line. Doesn't mean we necessarily will guarantee you a specific spot, though. And then I can always tell that like their eyes glaze over as I'm explaining it, just listening to the other end. It's just like, okay, can I make one of those then? Like, yes, I'll put you down. What's the name? You know, I do all that shit. Trying not to overcut. I think that's the right amount. Alright, hold on, let me check something. Just trying to check to see how flush it is. Oh, that is his asset. Uh-huh. You are in the way. Yeah, this is definitely injection molding. I have too much experience. I have too much PTSD from Finecast not to know what this is. This is... Okay. It's way better, like... Ironically, this is more fine than Finecast, though. Like, this... Whatever they're doing, they should hire whoever did this to do the injection molding at GW. Because, quite frankly, this is very clean. Like, the fact that the only warping was on the spear, and it was extremely subtle. Yeah, like, that to me, like, by all accounts, the fact that it only blasted it once did a slight nudge, and it's now fine. Compared to the curly Q sword I got from, well, I ordered a Finecast Demon Prince of Nurgle from Forge World a few years. I almost said way back when, but I guess way back when for me was only like 8 years ago. I ordered one, and I don't know if it was 8 years ago that I ordered one, but I know it was like within the last 5 to 6 years, so eight at most. And I ordered a Nurgle Prince, a Demon Prince of Nurgle, and it comes with this big sword. And the sword was almost like shaped like a C, but down like the flat end of the blade. So it was horrifyingly disfigured, and I blasted that shit with a fucking with a blow dryer for about an hour. And no matter what I did, there's only so much you can fix a fundamentally screwed up print. And all I'm thinking as I'm doing it is they literally sent this to me for the money I paid. You dirty bastards. GW / Forge World at the offices just counting the money like, yep, that's all mine. What a sucker. That guy actually bought our shit. Pricks. Big problem with most molding, as I have from doing ceramic molding, is if the forms are not heated correctly, it will screw it all up. Correct. And resin is probably the most temperamental when it comes to heat. Because when it's initially heated up to do the injection molding, the way resin deforms as it cools. Plastic does as well, but not plastic holds its rigidity, if that's a correct word. It holds its rigidness way better than resin does. Resin warps as it cools. So if you don't leave it in the mold to cool long enough, where it kind of holds it in place, it will warp in the packaging. Sounds like something GW would do. Yes. That's why I did it. I know them. They hate me. And I'm fine with that. They want to make me an enemy. Go right ahead. I'll win that war every fucking time. Actually, speaking of that, though, today was kind of interesting. Like during my downtime at work, when we kind of hit like a dead spot, I checked Twitter. I know that's how bored I got. I went on Twitter, and who here knows Discourse Minis? Like, put a one in the chat if you know Discourse Minis, or at least know of Discord Minis. So I'm gonna have to reference the image, aren't I? Alright, so... Oh, thank you, Matthew Gordon, for sending me the instructions. So there are instructions. Good. They're actually better than Finecast, then. Finecast doesn't have instructions. Ever. Okay. First heard of him today. First heard of him today. Well, it's not a him. Well, that depends on your perspective of the whole transgender thing. Discourse Minis is a lady, again, a trans woman, I think, anyway. Hey, I'm pretty sure. Not that I guess it matters all that much, but it's a trans woman individual, and they're known for basically being a shithead when it comes to like mini. I mean, it's in the name, Discourse Minis, and if you go to their channel on YouTube, it's mostly either shitting on Warhammer or the hobby. Now, if it was shitting on GW, that'd just be like my content, right? But they shit on the community, they shit on Warhammer as a hobby. They do some shitting on something they're supposedly a fan of quite often. And sometimes they do actually genuinely good reporting, which is rare, but it happens. And it's seldom, though. The majority of their content is disliking Warhammer, disliking the hobby space, disliking the community. Generally just not very fun stuff. And on Twitter, they're very vocal about their opinions of stuff. This is the pro FSM type person, mind you. So they're a political ideologue, for sure, posing as a hobbyist. And I don't usually get along with people like that, as you guys know. But I tend to avoid scrapping unnecessarily, which is kind of a half lie, I know, but I'll say it all the same. But on Twitter today, like, Discourse Minis was an idiot. I don't know other way to put it. I'll put it that way. Was an idiot. And they were, like, getting into it with everybody over basically a disagreement of interpretation. Because people, like, have been sharing around, like, the old meme, right? Of, like, Warhammer. It's a tale of indomitable spirit of man standing against impossible odds. Based. And then the other interpretation of Warhammer, which is everything awful, worse than you can possibly imagine. Oh my god, it's just so edgy, bah. Like, those are, like, the two types of fans. And Discourse Minis responded to it. Instead of just saying, well, you're allowed to have the interpretation you do, you're allowed to walk away with the subjective opinion that you have about the setting. You know, that part of it is certainly up to interpretation. And I would say both are true actively at the same time. Like, just because it's a Grimdark where everything sucks and it's the worst case it could possibly be, doesn't mean it doesn't also have a huge emphasis on the indomitable spirit of man and standing against impossible odds. I think both are true simultaneously. Now, that's all they had to say. But instead, Discourse Minis decided to kind of cheekily act like anybody who had the former opinion, like it's a fight of indomitable spirit of man against impossible odds. She implied that people who had that take weren't real fans. and stuff, and like we're misinterpreting it or we're just wrong. Which I don't think you're wrong if you have that interpretation. Like nowhere in Grimdark does it say you can't that can't be correct. In many ways, that is Grimdark in itself because it's the whole impossible odds thing. But regardless, him threw the gauntlet down and started trying to like fuck with people. And of course, they got a lot of response. Now, it wasn't a complete ratio. Discourse Minis did like more or less win the ratio game. It's Twitter, no surprise there. But the funny thing is, I ratioed them with my response to one of their responses to the tweet, where Discourse Minis said, all the guys with Space Marine profile pics who have never engaged with Warhammer outside a YouTube video, and it shows a gif of a guy going, this is my area of expertise, and he's like a nerdy, goofy stereotype. And I retweeted that shit with my response, which is, quote, air quoting her, him, whatever, saying, everyone who criticizes and disagrees with my terrible taste clearly knows less than me and is lesser than me. And I said, uh-huh. And then I shared a picture of, my Mauler Fiend that I finished painting a while back. I showed pictures of me at tournaments. I basically just showed proof, hey, this notion that you're spreading around that people who disagree with you and have Space Marine profile pics somehow not... Like, the implication is you're not a real fan and you don't actually know anything about Warhammer outside a YouTube video. It's like, okay, well, I have that opinion. And here's pictures of me painting my minis. Here's pictures of me playing the game at tournaments. And I even shared a picture of like old sketches I had in my high school sketchbook that I had for art class, which was full of like a bolter. I sketched out a chain sword. I did like a full, I showed multiple examples of my innumerable amount of time invested into Warhammer well outside YouTube videos. So no Discourse Minis. Those who disagree with your notion that there's only one true interpretation in regards to how that grimdark functionality works, and that's all just a big depressing mess, and there's no heroism, there's no badass characters, there's no things we can get behind and see as like a positive outlook on things. No, like there is absolutely that, and you can cope all you want. I don't know. Discourse Minis is definitely starting to hit in my crosshairs. Because I already think they're a prick on their YouTube channel, but you're going to be a prick to the community in like an active basis on your free time on Twitter. Bring it. Go fuck yourself. No, I hate people like that. But I just wanted to share that. That happened today. That was stupid. For them, I called them out with their dumb post today, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so did I. It's a question mark. Don't know, don't care. Wait, what? Okay. Par for the course then? Yeah, par for the course. It's satire chud nonsense when that hasn't been the case since Rogue Trader. Yeah, I know. Been dealing with that for years. I know. These people like genuinely like surprise me with their stupidity every year. It's like, why pretend to be a fan of something? Like, why? Like, why waste your time? You clearly... If you watch Discourse Mini's channel, like, they clearly aren't really a fan. Like, they clearly dislike Warhammer. Fundamentally. Why act like you're a fan? And then ironically act like everyone who disagrees with you isn't. And I guarantee you half of them are more likely to be fans than you are. There you go. Upside with fine cast resin, or the equivalent, which is this, it's very easy to chip away at with sanding. So both those are done. Now do I want to... kind of want to see... I don't know. I'm kind of debating if I want to assemble this prior and paint it with this pre-assembled between these two pieces, or if I want to paint them separate and then glue them together. Tempting on that one. Either will work, because it... Wait, hold on. Actually, let me look at something. Whoop. So if I put them together... There is a little bit of, like... That's harder to paint if I put them together before painting. But it's not that bad. I mean, I guess I could just notch it with a very fine brush. I don't know, but to maximize detailing and quality, I'll do them separately. Wasn't the sword of your Citadel Finecast Sanguinius warped into a sea as well? Not a full sea like the Prince of Nurgle, but it was warped. In fact, I don't think I ever fixed it. Not to the same degree that I wanted to. So, you know, looking at my own Sanguinius, if you look very closely, the sword does still have a slight curvature. It's very hard to see. I think I did a pretty good job at obscuring it. You know, I did my job in that regard. But it's very subtle, but it's still like kind of skewed downward. But I was able to fix it up and more or less. By the way, your Sanguinius will look better than mine, Matthew. Because with this, I did get a little lazy with my own. I just did a full coverage of Retributor Gold and Reichland Flesh Shade. I didn't even do a dry brush. Most of my effort on this Sanguinius was on the wings, making sure those looked like I wanted them to. So, and also, you know, detailing on like the leopard pelt and like the eyeballs and the sword. Like all that's where the majority of my detailing went. I got really lazy with the gold because it was going to frustrate me. But with yours, since it's a commission, obviously, I'm going to make it look better than that. Benefits of actual commission work versus, you know, my own stuff. My own stuff, I can be lazy where I feel I don't need to be as detailed for my own satisfaction. Actually, one, like, approach I'm planning with this model is I'm going to prime it black. And I'm thinking of doing a dry brush over all the armor with Retributor Gold, as opposed to doing a base coat or priming it Retributor Gold. Because I think that'll make it look more scuffed, like it's dirty from battle. But I'm not sure. Like, part of me also wants to do the Retributor Gold prime and then do a dry brush with silver. So I'm debating. That is lazy? What the fuck? Yeah, that's me being lazy. I will admit my metric of lazy is not what a lot of, like, my metric of lazy is very different from other people's. Lazy for me is it doesn't look like I'm trying to make it for, like, the Golden Demon Award. Like, I'm just trying to make it look good. I suppose, like, you know, compared to Arch's form of lazy, which is his default, which is just, hey, Skaven, brown primer, done. You know, for me, I don't even call that laziness. I just call that not even trying. Which, to be fair, he's been honest about. He doesn't like the painting process. Or didn't, anyway. But that was years ago. I have no idea how he feels about it now. Probably the same way, I'd assume. Knowing Arch. But yeah, that's my version of lazy. So yeah, I'll do those separately. Actually, I guess I'll do this as I go along. Just kind of as a way of me signing off that I'm like, okay, this is ready to... Alright, let's... Trying to pick the optimal spot to clip it without damaging anything and without also missing anything. I think I'll do the wing slot there. I think I'll do the wing slot. I think that'll be fine. I know I might actually have to... Trying to think of... Nah, I guess that's really the best place to put it is like into the wing slots. Because the primer should make its way through the teeth. And where the teeth are touching, that won't get touched by the primer. But where they're touching is inside of the construction material, which will be glued to the wings anyway. So I think that'll be fine. So yeah, that piece is ready to get primed. I'll put that. Yeah. There we go. And the demon head. This is also kind of a tricky one. I could clip it to the lower horn. Gotta pick the spot that obscures the least amount. That's not a good grip. Might have to do it against the horn. And I didn't want to do the horn because these teeth are actually a little sharp and I don't want to damage the mold. Yeah, that's gonna have to work. Hopefully it won't damage too much. Nah, it doesn't look like it's penetrating the actual resin. So that's good. As long as the teeth don't puncture the resin, it should be fine. Worst case scenario, it looks like something bit the horns, which I can jokingly say it was Sanguinius, but I really hope Matthew doesn't mind that, if that does end up happening. I hope not. The alligator clips are supposed to have a firm grip, but they're not supposed to have like a really overly strong one. I'm hoping not to damage anything in that process. Okay. This one, thankfully, this one will be actually extremely easy to clip. Yeah, you. Because I can just clip it right to that construction material. Thank God for prongs. I'll tell you this, I'm definitely not getting this done tonight because I do need to get to bed early. Because like I said earlier, I'm pulling a double tomorrow at work, which sucks, which means I also won't make any progress on this done tomorrow. Sorry, Matthew Gordon, about that, by the way. Work told me I had a double tomorrow yesterday. Like, hey, by the way, Alec. I'm like, yeah, boss. We really need expo help on Wednesday. Valentine's Day? Yeah, we're gonna need some help. Okay, yeah, I don't mind doing expo. Well, good, we'll see you in the morning too then. Wait, what? So I'm hosting in the morning, and then at night I'm gonna be doing expo. For those who don't know what expo is in regards to restaurants, remember, who here has seen Hell's Kitchen? That'll give me a good frame of reference to help you guys know what that is. One's in the chat if you've seen Hell's Kitchen. Hey, Fafnir Bane, welcome to stream. One. Okay. Ouch, you've always hated doing doubles? Yeah, they're not fun. 13-hour shift, yay! Sign me up! Well, at least I'm making good money, but still. Okay, ouch, I've always hated doing those. One. Alright, so for everyone who didn't put a 1 in, but does know it, so I'll say it. Okay. So in Hell's Kitchen, when Gordon Ramsay is at, like, the pass, right, and they bring the food to him. Like, they bring the food up to him, and he looks it over, and then that's usually when all, like, the clippable moments from the show happen. Because he's like, oh, bloody hell. And he turns around, slams it down, and says, hey, you, touch that right there. And they're like, hey, what is that? What is that? It's raw, chef. It's fucking raw! He smashes the shit around. Well, point is, when they bring it to the pass, that pass is called the expo, or expediting. So expediting is you look over the food, you do one last check, and then you do the final plating. And then you send it out to the customers. Usually at the pass, you also add in, like, garnishes. You put those on the dishes. You add sides. In my case, like coleslaw. Fries are already added in from the kitchen itself. You know, things... Little cranberry dish, you know, little things like that can be cold storage are typically added last minute to a given plate. And that's the part of the expediter's job. So my job is to look over the food and then yell. Literally, part of my job is actually to yell into the kitchen and tell them they fucked it up. and to recook it, refire it, whatever the case may be. And just like, you know, a restaurant like Hell's Kitchen kind of is, and like real restaurants are, we don't send out unless it's like a really bad situation with horrible timing in the kitchen. We don't send out parts of a table. You send out a full table's dishes and their food together so the whole table can eat together. If you send it out in portions, that creates a lot of negativity from the customers who didn't get their food amongst that table. That can affect tips. That can affect the restaurant's reputation. That can cause people to walk out in some severe situations. So expediting is a lot of pressure because guess who gets all the blame if everything makes it all the way to the table and there's something found wrong with it. It's now no longer the kitchen's fault. It's now mine because I didn't catch it. So that's my job tomorrow night, and I'm doing that for about 7 hours. On Valentine's Day, when we're going to have a shit ton of customers. I'm so excited. Yeah, I'm predicting I'm going to get yelled at least 3 times. But upside is I get to yell back, so, you know, silver lining. I guess I can, in a weird way, say I'm going to be the Gordon Ramsay of my restaurant tomorrow. But not because I'm actually good at cooking. It's just my job to catch when they're putting tomatoes on a dish that someone said no tomatoes. Honestly, that's like most of it. I've done Expo like twice at the restaurant now. So what I'm hearing is you're going... So what I'm hearing is you're going to Gordon Ramsay mode. Pretty much. I mean... More or less. More or less. That's the essence of it. I get to yell at them if they fuck up. But if I fuck up, I'm the one who gets yelled at. So what hey, I couldn't work in a kitchen. Congrats to those that do. Yeah, it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure. I've kind of coined this because I've worked in this restaurant, at this particular restaurant, for the last 8 months now, 8-9 months, and the kitchen. I've now become convinced that part of one's job in the restaurant is to become a sociopath / psychopath. Because I want to say every single person in the kitchen is some level of deranged. To a comedic degree. It's kind of like a job requirement, I'm feeling like. Like, everyone in there is a little bit crazy. Half of them have been to prison at least once. The other half have almost been to jail. And then the entire wait staff are also full of their own unique characters, but none of them have been to jail. They're just all kind of weird. You're a supervisor in a prison kitchen. Wasn't fun. I can imagine. In a prison kitchen in particular. Yeah. That is anything with dealing with people. True. I don't know, I like them, but the other day when I caught one of them doing the knife game because he was bored, that stuck with me. I was like, hey, Connor, and I look in the kitchen, he's just like stabbing around his 5 digits, like bang, 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 bang. I'm like, I'm gonna look away because I feel like if I watch him and he actually stabs himself, it'll somehow be my fault. So I'm looking away now. I feel like if they had a gun back there, they'd be playing Russian roulette. Get them bored enough. Kitchen staff, bunch of crazies. Okay, let me look back at the instructions that Matthew sent me, so I know I'm got the process here. Definitely gonna combine those. All right, hold on. Let me get my helmet. Look, look back, and they're wearing cookware like armor and jousting. Yes, that hasn't happened yet. I have seen like I have seen like them like talk angrily at each other while pointing like a fucking cleaver at each other, but they don't really see it as a threat. It's just them emphasizing their points. It's like, if you got this damn appetizer done a fucking hour ago, he's pointing the fucking knife at the guy he's arguing with. The guy he's arguing with doesn't even like notice it. He's like, motherfucker, I did it an hour ago. You just didn't pay attention. Now you have to refire it because you screwed up. It's like, you mother. You're just there awkwardly wondering, is this a hostage situation or are they just arguing? I don't know. Quirky people work in kitchens, but that is the norm these days. Wait, there's supposed to be helmet wings? What? Oh wait, no. There's two versions of the helmet. Oh. Huh. Well, that makes that a little bit more complicated now, doesn't it? Okay, so a question for Matthew Gordon: Which helmet variation do you want? So you have this helmet with the two punctures on both sides for like wings, which I'm actually not even seeing. Oh, hello. And there's also an exposed face. Let me do this so we can all see. Alright. So, you want exposed face, helm with these two things stabbed into it. Wonder how it goes. Yeah, so kind of like two of those. I like the helmeted head with the wings, if it's okay. Oh, of course it's okay. It's your commission, man. Like, it's whatever you prefer. So we'll do the helmet with the wings then. So you're the one we're doing, which means I get to keep this headpiece. Wait, that's right. You said I can keep the pieces that I don't use, correct? If so, put that guy over there. All right, put you there. And I will definitely pre-add these, because there's no reason to paint them separately. So where's my glue? There's my glue. Make sure access gets covered. How much would they? Ah. Yep, anything you don't use, you can keep. Okay, perfect. So let me add these to the head. Okay. Happens too many times. Quick tip for anybody who uses the same glue as me. It is liquid super glue, so it's like water. And it will trickle. And when it trickles, it's a bitch. Wait, what? That doesn't look right. Okay, for some reason, they're not even on either side. And it doesn't help. My fingers are sticking. Okay, there we go. Took a second. Okay. So I'm going to carefully set that down. Let that dry. And that should be fine. Yeah, for a second there was a bit of a scare because the way the second wing type was going into the helmet was a little off. But looks like it's fixed, so we're good there. Okay. I guess while I'm at it, we'll glue this to the base. I'll glue the base to the base. So, question, Matthew Gordon, are you using this for the Horus Heresy game, or are you just got like a custom game planned with your friends for like 40k, and you just want to use Sanguinius? A really sexy model to use at that, by the way. Smash it. I'm doing what I call dabbing. It's when you're applying like sharp pressure to it as it's gluing down, kind of forcing out all the air pockets from the edges. There we go. That should be fine like that. Daniel Lindsay says, like, I work in parts place. Do the number of times hammers and wrenches are thrown around when people are not in there while we're yelling at each other is many and often. Yes, can relate. I don't know why, but I just got a line in my head in Valley Girl accent. Oh my god, what's this horse Harry C? And how can a C be like Harry? What? Your brain's weird? Yeah, I'd say your brain's pretty weird, Paris. That is very random. But thank you for sharing. Alright, so that's good. I'm sorry with like priming the bases. I don't actually have to put it on any alligator clip. Once it's dry, I'm just going to spray over it. I heard Horus Heresy and my brain decided to do a brain. Gonna be a display piece on my TV stand near my P. Oh, okay. What a display piece. I'll put all the fancy stuff there. Ah, okay. All the fancy stuff? Like, all of it? I don't know why I asked it like that. I guess it depends on what you define as fancy. In my house, we define fancy as it works. Like, well, ain't that fancy? Yeah, it functions. It's operable. Okay, so spear, alligator clip time. Alright, so again, hopefully. Okay, good, that's not too loose. Yeah, so as long as it doesn't pop off, that means it's fine. It works. It works. Hence, fancy, indeed. I don't know. Maybe like it's just like growing up in like on a farm and shit. Fancy has a very like specific connotation when you have like that kind of environment. Because you know, obviously, fancy doesn't refer to jewelry. It doesn't refer to like anything. What a normal person, I would say, would define as fancy. Like fancy, like when you don't have really room for genuinely fancy things, is usually down to like functionality. Alright, so obviously the legs are both crucial. There we go. Get that wood there. Get it nice and well done. Put that down. Fancy, clean, and functional. Absolutely. Sometimes I feel like the parts, the construction bits you like clip off miniatures could be used as weaponry. Because it just flings off at such ferocity. Like, oh my God. I've been wounded. Somebody help me. Yeah, no. There we go. Nice and trim. Why does it keep feeling like it's brighter? Set that there. Alright, so I think we're almost all the crucial bits, because we got both wings over there. Both wings. Ooh. Toss that. Boom. So now that I got quite a few of you here, I know I reported on it a few days ago, but I guess I'll ask: has anyone got any updates or just want to share their thoughts other than mine? Like I already shared mine in video form, but their thoughts on the whole major kill versus or major kill going after Westhammer thing. That was kind of. I still stand by my response to it. Why? Just it was a why moment. Like, what on earth possessed Major Kill to think that was a good idea? Can't have been anything too wise, that's for sure. Not my circus, not my monkeys as far as the drama, honestly. Yeah, fair. Never really cared much for drama to begin with, and I don't particularly care for Major Kill anyway. Fair enough, I suppose. So a pretty solid even take. I don't know, like with me, I won't say I was ever a fan of Major Kill, but I did enjoy a few handful of his videos before I watch like when I paid closer attention and realized like how he treated people in the hobby space and how he treated like Arch, for example. That's when I like lost any favor I had with him. Before that, I just thought he was a quirky, kind of edgy member of the community and content creator, and I liked what he had to make at the time. Didn't love it, but it was okay. Well, once I found out like that kind of snaky shit, I'll call it. I don't know, wasn't super impressed. I don't know. Even for Major Kill though, this situation felt a little left out of left field for me. I don't know. Like as much as know and understand, he's a bit of an egotist and in a very arrogant douchebag in a lot of ways. It just felt out of place even for him though. Like I never thought he was stupid enough to actually think like he owned Warhammer coverage in any capacity. Like it's just weird for me. It's just kind of weird that he even remotely had that thought process. It was weird of him, but at least he seems to have taken the better position of stepping back and calming down. Yeah, I agree. That's another thing that surprised. First of all, it surprised me that he didn't to begin with, but it would pleasantly surprise me that he owned up to it. Now, yeah, again, would he have if didn't get pressure and he didn't get like backlash for it? Probably not. Let's be honest. But that being said, him doing it at all, like by all accounts, he could have just kept ignoring it and moved on, and everyone else would have too. Honestly, like he could have even left the video up, and people would have eventually let it go. You know, especially with internet communities, there's not a lot of like lasting damage. Things get forgiven quite easily, and more often than not, even in situations where they shouldn't be. But I don't know, like him addressing it though, and like owning up to the mistake, and also like he also could have owned up to it without. Like, he could have done the politician thing, right? Like been like, "Whoa, did I really understand? Did it really have to be interpreted this way?" And I was just no. He just straight up said like, "No, I let my ego and hubris get ahead of me. I overplayed my hand." Not a lot of people would admit that. Not a lot of people would admit that it had anything to do with ego at all. They would try and play it off as like, "Oh, well, I was trying to do this, but it just didn't work out. So, oh well." I don't know. He didn't pull that card though. So it may not be the greatest silver lining, but it's something. I thought it was silly of MK, but Major Kill. But I've never been a fan on his stuff really. As for Wes, I know nothing about him. I know a little bit about Wes. I did a video responding to one of his shorts way back when. Like he made the claim that the Chaos Gods were actually the good guys. In like an older video now, well, old for internet terms. I guess it's only like a year old, so objectively, it's not like the oldest thing in the world. The apology earned him a little respect from me. Not a lot, but a tiny bit. Yeah, that's fine. Like for me, it didn't like earn any respect necessarily. The act I think deserves like some respect in itself, but Major Kill's Major Kill. I don't have the greatest opinion of him. So, and again, I do subscribe to the opinion that he wouldn't have done it if he didn't get pressure for it. Still should get credit for doing it, but he wouldn't have if he didn't get what he wanted. Particularly wrong, the orcs are the good guys. Yeah, I don't know. I confronted the video and I said like, actually, let me pull up the video. It was a very short video, but there's a segment of it I think that pretty much sums up my thought in the whole video. Honestly, I should have made the whole video what I'm thinking, but let me pull it up. You agree on that, Az? Okay. Good. Well, good you agree with me. That sounds weird. Thank you for agreeing with me. I guess it's a better way to put it. Let's see. How long ago was it, Jesus? Shit, this must have been forever ago. There it is. The Chaos Gods are the protagonist of 40k. A response. Yeah. My video got 343 views, so you know I definitely took down Wes Hammer with this one. But, let me skip to a segment of it. Yeah, okay. This is kind of like my sum up of my thoughts. And I'll share it with y'all here. A noble sacrifice. When duty calls, you'll pay the price for the Federation. That I've been listening to that song all day, by the way, just so everyone knows. Buddy, shh. Sorry, my dog's whining.
He has some elements to him that we could view as inherently good, like he was a vegetarian. This is stupid.
For example, did you know that Korn, the god of blood and skulls, actually teaches his followers to have mercy for the weak?
I was being cheeky. Very cheeky. I can be a dick. I'll acknowledge it. I can be a dick.
Did you know that Nurgle teaches us to accept that which we cannot change and not to fear death? Or what about the often overlooked fact that Tzeentch inspires people to read books and seek knowledge to better themselves? Or how about how Slaanesh, at the end of the day, just wants you to be happy doing what you love?
You serious?
Now, if trillions of people worship and serve them, they can't be all bad, right?
If it wasn't social faux pas to dislike or to like one's own videos, I would leave a like on my own video. I'm a dick. I'll admit that. Like, in all accounts, what Wes said in that video wasn't that egregious, but I couldn't help myself when I saw it and when he was calling the when Wes was calling the fucking Chaos Gods the protagonists of 40K. I couldn't help my asshole mode was in full engagement. Can I help you? Yep. I'm streaming, putting together stuff for client.
Okay. Okay.
What are you doing? Like your treadmill? What are you doing? What are you doing? I love you too. I love you. I love you. Love you too. I'm busy, you know. I love you too. How you doing? Easy on the kisses there, darling. Alright, let me put you down. Hi guys. Good doggo. Yes. He's a menace. This way. There you go. $250 biddy. Priority. Secondary. Okay. Apologies for the interruption, folks. Where was I? I don't know. I forgot. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pre-attach the pauldrons to the arms. There is a slight downside to that, because there are leather straps that are going to be slightly... Well, these two towards the very center are going to be completely underneath it, but I really don't want to do them separately, because that's just an excess amount of effort for really little reason. Yeah, because I can get under there with a brush and it'll be fine. So I'm just gonna pre-connect those, save myself some aggravation. I understand completely. Well, I'm glad you understand. I appreciate it. Always go to chaos good. Is it because they view anything to do with authority bad? Well, this is my thing. There are things, I would say, like, the oldest reason why some people would say chaos is the good guys and, like, everyone else is the bad guys kind of stems from fantasy. It's because in fantasy there was more of an emphasis on the gods having a dual side, right? Like in Warhammer Fantasy or Warhammer Fantasy Battles, there was an excess amount of emphasis on the chaos gods' dual aspects. Like there was the evil, more apparent and more open side. Like Khorne was bloodthirsty, kill, murder, death, everything, blood. Slaanesh was graping and drugs and addiction and excess, everything. Nurgle was disease, pestilence, and death. And Tzeentch was... Tzeentch. I just crazy psycho shit. The Eldritch one. But in fantasy, there was a little bit of emphasis on the reverse side of the coin. Like there was more of more of an acknowledgement that why would anyone follow these gods? Well, yes, Khorne is murder, death, kill, but Khorne is fair. Khorne has a sense of honor. Khorne will never lie to you. He will never betray you. Which is kind of contradicted because there are stories where he has betrayed people, I'm pretty sure. But that being said, it's like the idea that Khorne will not double cross you or stab you in the back. If Khorne goes against you, he will tell you, and he will challenge you to a one-on-one mono-y-mono fight. And winner take all. That is like the essence of Khorne. That is his dual side. Yes, he is murder, death, kill, kill. But he's against lying, he's against deception, he's against manipulation, and he will never stab you in the back. He has a code of honor, ethics, and a straightforward respect for martial combat. So there's that dual side. Slaanesh, yes, is all the excesses in life and all like the drugs and the graping, but Slaanesh is also the expression of those things in their totality. Like love, like yes, Slaanesh is lust, but Slaanesh is also love, like more traditional love, more traditional like adoration and couplings and marriages and stuff. Like yes, Slaanesh is the excess of emotion, but it's also the expression of emotion. So Slaanesh is the excess of them, but also the basis of them. For Tzeentch is psycho crazy shit. Mexicanoni, what's up? What's up? You got a commission for a mini? Yep, I did. Is this this a Horus Heresy mini? Technically, it has to be because Sanguinius died at the very tail end of the heresy, but the model design is clearly unique, not really based in the lore. It's not against the lore at the same time. Like this sculpt is not against the lore by any stretch, I would say. Like it's more like another visualization of the lore, but it's not like exactly canon. Like the pelt, like the white tiger pelt that Sanguinius is, that doesn't seem to be in this sculpt at all, which is fine. I'm not a huge fan of that aspect of his aesthetic myself, but like that's not really present. It's just like another interpretation of Sanguinius's armor. But as for whether it'll be used for the Horus Heresy, Matthew Gordon said no. He's planning on having it just be a display piece, which is fine by me. You know, like I was just curious what he was going to be using it for. But it's gonna look pretty good, I think. Well, I'm the one making it. I bet it better because I'm the one making it, and I'm being paid to do it. So I will place that there. And place that. Boom. Right, both arms. Yeah, and I'm going to be painting this guy in sub-assembly for anybody who's just joining, like Mexicanoni. So we're starting off with just the basics here. Okay, what happens if I turn that off? Nah, it's too dark. Okay. Just trying to have a more humble light. The Conrad model you did for me, though, I used for Horse Heresy. Fantastic. Love to hear it. So both the arms are drying. Did the head dry enough? Yep. Head seems to have dried. Okay. Good. I can connect that to a There we are. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Almost got the full ensemble. Actually, I might have to do this in 2 different foam boards. Prophet Brain says, so GW/Dan Abnett allowed Sanguinius to die at the end. Oh, you're talking about the new retcon stuff? Again, I'm talking traditional lore. Traditional lore is he absolutely fucking died. As for the retcon, we don't know yet. The part that's been leaked about the final book in the Horse Heresy series, I'm going to cover it in a video, but like the gist of it is, and Auspix Tactics reported on it, as well as a couple others, but it seems like what has happened with the ending is they've retconned that Horus was destroyed. Because for those who have like paid attention to the lore over the years, the original explanation at the end of the heresy between Horus and the Emperor is, you know, the Emperor couldn't bear himself to destroy Horus, his favorite son. Sentimentality got to him at the end, and he couldn't do it. And he also, it's kind of like he started to give up at that point because everything seemed like he had failed. Like, his goal for humanity, the webway, everything seemed to be falling apart. Sanguinius dying as well, I think, genuinely disturbed him. Because Sanguinius, in many ways, represented the future of the Imperium, like, in terms of his individuality and his personage. And so seeing, like, when the Emperor entered the bridge of the Vengeful Spirit and he saw Sanguinius dead in front of him, I think it struck the Emperor very hard. Now, I jokingly, like, refer to that situation as he really just didn't seem to give a shit, because immediately he started pleading with Horus to be like, no, don't do this. You can still turn back. I will forgive you. You know, that kind of notion. But in all honesty, as much as I joke about that, I think the truth being said is it's not that the Emperor didn't care that Sanguinius was dead, and that it's not that he didn't care. I think the Emperor absolutely was disturbed and upset that Sanguinius was dead. And I think that's partially why he started pleading with Horus to stop it and to let it end. Because he had already lost the embodiment of the vision of the Imperium, and he didn't want to destroy one of the crucial agents to its construction, Horus. Like, he'd already lost, as much as the Emperor didn't really view them as sons, he lost one son, one crucial piece of the puzzle. Why lose one of the other most crucial pieces? So, I think that's the better way to interpret it. Although, again, jokingly, it pretty much just didn't care that Sanguinius died. Alright. But, yeah, with the retcons, effectively what happened is Sanguinius, Horus, after the Emperor, I think everything is the same up to the point where the Emperor, the Solar Auxilia stands between Horus and the Emperor to save his liege lord and gets annihilated, and then, actually no, that's the thing. I have to look into it a little bit more, but seemingly, I think that still happens, but what knocks Horus out of his stupor is not the Emperor then striking him with a psychic attack, and then briefly, before the Emperor completely annihilates him, he comes to realize what he is. Now, apparently, Gavio Loken somehow ends up on the Bridge of the Vengeful Spirit and pleads with Horus to knock out of it, or to knock it off. And to take control. And he does. That's right. Like, the Horus is knocked out of his brainwashing and corruption from chaos by a pep talk from Gavio Loken. Not even the Emperor. Not even another Primarch, just Gavio. Now, Gavio's an awesome character, but him of all people knocking Horus out of his corruption is bullshit. And so, in the retcon, Horus is knocked out of his corruption by his own will after a pep talk from Gavio Loken. And then he proceeds to plead with the Emperor to destroy him. Yeah. So it's already stupid in my opinion, but it's okay. That's, in the grand scheme of things, fairly minor. Well, actually, it's really not. To be honest, even that little element really pissed me off. But compared to what else was in the retcon, that's kind of nothing. Because, okay, so Horus, having taken control himself away from Chaos, which is bullshit, it makes Chaos look so weak and feeble that they can be subverted in their corruption by a pep talk. All four Chaos Gods working together to corrupt Horus, and he can knock himself out of it from a pep talk. From one of his sons. Not even his brother, not even the Emperor. Hell, fucking even Malkador. No, it was Gavio Loken. Okay. He then pleads with the Emperor to destroy him, and he does. But before the Emperor destroys him, he says to the Emperor said, I'm not sure like who says exactly what, but one of them says to the other, "I will see until we meet again," or something like that. Until we meet again, or I'll see you again, something like that. And that's exchanged between the two of them. And then the Emperor booms him. But the implication from that is the Emperor did not destroy him utterly like he did in the traditional lore. In the traditional lore, Horus is gone. Like, his soul was erased. Like, that's how powerful of an attack the Emperor hit him back with. He made sure that there was no way Horus could be revivified, even by the powers of the warp. And to do that, you need to erase the soul. There can be nothing left. He destroyed him utterly, with every fiber of his power. In the retcon, due to the line, "I'll see you again," or "we'll meet again," whichever one it is, due to that line, there's now the interpretation that the Emperor held back just enough to only destroy Horus's body. And his soul is intact. And if that's the fucking case, they have opened the door for Horus to be brought back to life. So, The most charitable interpretation of that is they wanted a more sentimental ending to the Horse Heresy than what was there before, which I don't even think this is more sentimental, but that might have been their goal. But for me, the more likely reason they put that in there is because they're planning on doing a Horus Heresy 2.0. Now, a lot of people would say that's bullshit. That would rob the first one of its weight. And it would also be kind of a joke in and of itself that they're doing that because it shows they clearly have run out of ideas. So now they're just copying the big thing they've had for years and just putting it in the modern game. I think that's what they're building up to. Because why the fuck else leave room in for ambiguity on whether... Not even really ambiguity. It's more or less confirmed that the Emperor did not destroy Horus's soul. Because there's no way they'd be able to meet each other again if he had destroyed him utterly. That's impossible. He would have... Because in the traditional lore, if he had done what he did in the traditional lore, which is erase him entirely, there's no way they'd meet again. That line makes no sense if that's still the case. So they put that in because they want to open that door. And because it's a retcon, they're opening that door with a fucking crowbar. Because they themselves closed it and locked it. They did that. And now they're prying it back open and saying, whoops! You know that lore you guys have known for like decades and have accepted its canon for decades? Well, we feel that that's getting in the way of our financial future, so... Shing! Bust open that fucking door. They want to do a soft reboot so they can start over and sell more minis. I don't even know if they want to do a soft reboot and start over. I think that's a long-term goal eventually for sure. But the short-term, I think the next 5-year goal is to eventually build up to Horus Heresy 2.0. Then they're going to milk that for those who will eat that up, which to be fair in this community, there's a good chunk of people who will just eat that up. They're going to milk the shit out of that. And then when that finally starts to fail, then they'll end that Horus Heresy arc with like all the Primarchs coming back. They're going to end it with everything going to shit. And then it's going to be a big like apocalyptic event like Warhammer Fantasy End Times. And then we're going to get 40k rebooted to probably something like 50k or some shit. Which I think will happen in 10 to 15 years. Yeah, at least they know what they did with Warhammer Fantasy was a mistake, so this time they're going for a slow burn. That's my guess, for what they certainly think is a slow burn. They're working up to it. But the thing is, I don't care. The problem is, no matter how slow they go, they're still fucked. Because if they do it, period, doesn't matter how slow they go at doing it, people are going to be pissed. They're going to lose quite a bit. They're not going to gain any new audiences off doing it, and they're going to lose quite a bit once they do it. But the thing is, they're only at this point with these retcons, they're only opening the door. They haven't crossed the threshold yet. And I think a big decider on whether they'll cross the threshold into making Horus Heresy 2.0 into End Times of 40k will be the success of things like Henry Cavill's television series or movie that he's working on for 40k. Because if people in like the normie crowd who watched that whatever Henry Cavill's working on formulate the vision and the idea of 40k that he's bringing forth, and they do the Horus Heresy 2.0 and then End Times and then restart over, that means all the audiences that they gained fresh from Henry Cavill's work, because he's working on it from the vision of the current 40k mythos and the current aesthetic. So if they tried to do a reboot fresh after getting all that new audience from the media, that'll just be shooting themselves in the foot. And I think the execs of GW are smart enough to recognize at least that. So they'll probably put a halt to those plans to do Horus Heresy 2.0 and do the reboot based on a new influx of audience from the Henry Cavill series that's coming out. But if the Henry Cavill movie or show fails, or at the very least doesn't successfully bring in enough new people and thus new sales, they're going to probably bum rush or still probably slow burn their way from Horus Heresy 2.0 to End Times, but they're going to put that in motion proper if that happens. That's my guess. But that's based solely on it's solely conjecture based on what little we have to work with. I think it's safe conjecture, but you guys can disagree or agree, of course. Leg, arm, spear, wing, chest piece, waist, head. Okay, what am I missing? I guess I'm missing the other hand. I think. Oh, wait. I'm missing the waistband. I wish you were wrong about that. I really do. But I can see it being true. Yeah, I wish I was wrong too. But I don't think I am. Not to sound egotistical, but I just don't think I am in this case. I think I'm dead on. And I'm not any more happy about it than you guys. The only satisfaction I have is that if I end up being right, I have the satisfaction of being correct. And unfortunately, in the face of losing one of my favorite settings, universes, and hobbies, that's not going to feel like much of a victory, to be honest. I'd rather be dead wrong and mocked for being dead wrong than being at all right about this. Alright, so I got the waistband, got the demon head. Okay. A noble sacrifice. When duty calls, you pay the price. Oh, I got these as well. Wait, no, these are only on the back, though, if you don't have the wings. If I'm not correct, mistaken. Because these are the vents. So we're good on that front. We'll definitely have a sheathed sword. So GW is getting help from Disney/Marvel writers. Unironically, I think that might be possible. I mean, let's be honest. Dan Abnett and ADB and those types of the Black Library, they're not exactly the heads of the lore, really, these days. And I don't think anyone is. It doesn't seem like there's a central figure or authority controlling or maintaining anything. I wish there was an authority figure of some kind maintaining the lore, but that'd be optimistic. They think they'll get enough normies to offset the fans that they'll lose from Horus Heresy 2. I interpret it differently. I think the whole reason Horus Heresy 2.0 exists at this point, based on this new latest stuff with the retcons that we've been talking about, I now have an entirely different opinion of the Horus. I thought the Horus Heresy 2.0 was just because they were trying to get like a quick influx of bucks and stuff at the time, because there was some fresh love of the Horus Heresy going around. But I think I was giving them too little credit for how far ahead they were looking. I think that they were planning this as far back as when they were conceptualizing 2.0 for Horus Heresy. And the reason Horus Heresy 2.0 exists is to satiate those fans. So when they try and get the normies to take over 40k, they'll hopefully catch all of us nostalgic players in Horus Heresy. I think, though, that's the reason Horus Heresy exists. I think it's to catch us from free falling completely out of the hobby. They're trying to mitigate their losses while maximizing their gains, which I can only commend. It's strategic, it's smart, and there's a little bit of basis for that. Like, I do think that they're right to do that, because truth is, if 40k goes down the drain, I am falling back on Horus Heresy. I'm not giving up completely. I'm going to try and stick to what I do like, and Horus Heresy I do. So I'll probably stick to that. And I think that's what they're relying on, and they're right to. I think it's going to work if that's their strategy. But they have to keep adding to Horus Heresy. They have to keep, adding to its value. They have to keep adding to its emphases. They have to keep puffing it up. If they stop supporting it in any major way and they don't do enough for it, then it doesn't matter. Like, if in the far off future they do eventually do what I think they're going to do, and that free fall of old traditional fans completely give up on 40k, not enough of them are going to want to get caught in the net of Horus Heresy 2. They're just not going to trust it, and they're going to run. So they need to really do more for Horus Heresy if that is the reason Horus Heresy exists, like I think it is. Game Workshop has wanted to pawn off their IP for a while now. I remember when they tried to get bought by Hasbro. Yes, they desperately want that wider audience. Absolutely. And that is true. Like, that is a correct view of things. I do think the higher ups of GW, just like the shareholders, I do think they want to sell the franchise. I do think they want a huge payout from one of the big studios and stuff for IPs, because whoever's at the head of GW, I'm sorry, but their goal has been money, 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 money for decades. Why wouldn't they want to get like the biggest payout of their lives from a studio if they make the franchise valuable enough to one of these studios for something that they can sell for media? Like there's plenty of precedent for why they'd want this. And I think it for a personal thing, if I was one of the execs, it's smart. Because as long as they make 40k as like strategically valuable as possible to a potential Hollywood buyout or a Hasbro buyout, or whichever angle they go for, they can get the most amount of money for it, and then it'd be a golden parachute for all of them to retire off of and hop out of this shit. Like, the only true love and dedication to 40k from its creators comes from the writers, and I would say not even really all of them these days. Very few, a very small segment of them, and a few of the staff that do like the painting videos and the YouTube videos we see so often uploaded from the Warhammer channel. You can see some genuine enthusiasm and passion behind some of those videos. But you got to keep in mind that the people making that stuff for the official Warhammer channel, they're employees. They're not the people who own the company. They're not the IP holders. So that's why. You know, I think people at the bottom of the totem pole really give a shit, and I think the fans give a shit, and I think that's it. People at the top do not. They care about the dollar signs. Yeah, but keep in mind, Fafnir, they're trying to catch the old fans with Horus Heresy. It's the net, it's the web to try and keep the old fans from completely falling off. So, yes, you're right. The rules are completely different. If you've read the rules, like I have, the rules are like 6th edition 40k. They're like 7th edition 40k. It's the edition of 40k that the old fans would love to go back to. So again, that for me, that reinforces my idea that the whole reason Horus Heresy 2.0 exists is to catch the free fall. It's to catch those of us who will quit 40k if they go too much of this route that we think they are. They're not trying to like catch the free fall of new fans. The whole point of whatever they end up doing for a reboot will be for the new fans. Horse Heresy is for any of us old fans, or older fans, I should say. Where's the... Okay, so that is a necessary piece. Sorry, I was looking to, because I saw this piece and I was wondering if it was a necessary piece, not an optional one. It looks like it's a necessary piece. So let me ship that off. Sand the edges there. Boom. Alright. And that's necessary as well. Shit. God damn it. Crap. Hey Matthew, you still in the audience? Yes. Okay, so we got a bit of a problem. So this piece, which is kind of like a metal plate that hangs off the side of his belt, I chipped off part of that with the construction material. So what I can do is I can try and glue it back on and then try and shave away at the construction material. That'll take a lot longer. Or I can leave the chip there and it'd be battle damage. Okay, it's fine if it's battle damage. Alright. Yeah. Fortunately, they made that... The very edge of this, they made really thin, so... Yeah, that construction material was way too faded on the end there. But yeah, if you're fine with it being battle damage, then that should be good right there. Or... Okay, so the spear clearly goes on his right side, because it's a right side spear. So for his left hand, I need his hand. I know, crazy. Fuck a duck. Tell me I didn't make that mistake. That's not good. Shit. these be fresh enough? I can still peel this off. Nope. Shit. Shit. So that goes there. Yeah, these are both the same side arms. Shit. Fuck. I fucked up. Shit. Because I just noticed this other arm piece. I thought there were only 2 arm pieces. Yeah, I'm sorry, Matthew Gordon. I fucked up, man. So I'm gonna order a replacement model, and I'm gonna do that for you. I fucked up, my bad. Let me see if I can find their Sanguinius model. Yeah, because that's super glue. That's not coming off. So I super glued on, and I should have paid better attention. So my mistake was there's 2 arms for the same side of the chest piece. I thought there were only 2 arm pieces. So when I pre-glued on the pauldrons, I thought it was safe to do so. I was wrong. So I now have to order a replacement model. Free of charge, of course. That's on me. I fucked up. Yep, I fucked up. So I will order a new model for that pauldron, and that's gonna come out of me. Damn it. If I can find it. No, the problem is this material is resin. If you put it in something like isopropyl alcohol or acetone, it'll potentially melt. And super glue, for the amount of time it'll take for the super glue to fit into the recesses to allow the glue to separate, that amount of time might also be the exact amount of time needed to melt the resin, destroying the model and the pieces together. So I will order a replacement model. Can you send me a link to where you bought it so I can just directly purchase it? And I'll paint what I have that I didn't fuck up. And then when that arrives, I will use the replacement arm in it. And the pauldron. Freeze trick? What do you mean? I was getting stuffed. Alright, thank you for the link, Matthew Gordon. I will put in an order for that immediately. Hopefully that won't take too long to arrive. Shit. Gotta be kidding me, really? It's gonna take that fucking long. Yay. I just tried to use leverage, man. I literally just tried that. I broke the tip of my hobby knife off inside of it. It's super glue. It doesn't come off that easy. Once super glue dries, it's like concrete. Fuck. Yeah, so I just placed an order in. It's predicting the soonest it'll arrive is next month, which is ridiculous. If I had a Dremel tool, I would Dremel it out. Yeah, that would be my move. But I don't have a Dremel tool. And the glue completely sealed around the edges, so yeah. Gonna have to wait a while. Matthew Gordon, how long did it take for yours to arrive to you? Do you know by chance? Because for me, it's the estimation is that it won't arrive till the 3rd of next month. That's super. No, it's just standard super glue. Like, super glue is super strong. Like that. It's not called that for any comedic reason. When it dries, it dries. It's like concrete. There's a reason it's used when making miniatures. It's because it doesn't break easy. The plastic of the mini is more likely to break than the glue. Took 2 months, but I did order around Christmas. Yeah, it's telling me predicted arrival time 3/3/19. So it'll be next month. Wait, 3/3/19. What? Okay, that's weird. Hold on. Estimated arrival on 3 03-03-19-0. What? Oh, actually, hold on. It's okay. So it could arrive anywhere between the 3rd of March or the 19th of March. That's helpful. Okay, thanks. That's 3 weeks. That's a 3-week window of arrival. And we're still in early February. Is it water-based? Yes, it's water-based. Damn it. So, since I have to wait that long anyway, I'm going to try... I'm going to try and pry it. Well, no, I've already tried prying it. Prying it's not going to work. So I'm going to leave this in my freezer overnight and see if Daniel Lindsay's idea will work. And if it doesn't, I'll mock him on next stream. Don't worry. God damn it. No, don't be sorry, man. I'm sorry that you now have to wait longer for this fucking thing. I was hoping to have this mini done by the end of the week. Maybe next week. Now it's not even going to be... If I can't get this pauldron separated from this arm, it's just not going to happen for over a month. Cut off below the pauldron. That's not enough. I'm sorry, that's not enough. I don't know what you think that'll accomplish. No offense. Because I need to be able to connect the pauldron to the other arm. So that doesn't fix the problem. To fix the problem, I would need a Dremel tool or something similar to scrape away all the material that's not part of the pauldron without damaging the pauldron itself, which is not really possible. And I don't have a Dremel tool. WD-40, no. I don't know what lists of are you looking at. Not WD-40. The freezing sounds more reasonable than the WD-40. WD-40 has nothing, as far as I know, it has nothing into it that will break down glue. Unless I'm stupid and there is something in WD-40 that breaks down glue. Didn't say to use on what services do you have to listen to homes from features such as Cerebro. Okay. Why? What is in WD-40 that's breaking down super glue? What the hell is in WD-40 that's breaking down glue? (40 to 50% low vapor pressure aliphatic hydrocarbon isoprophene, 35% petroleum base, 25% aliphatic hydrocarbons, 2 to 3% carbon dioxide. I mean, the isoprophene, that might be what's the breaking down material. I don't know. I might have some WD-40 in the garage. I could try that. I don't know. I'd prefer to try the freezing method before trying WD-40, though. Because if whatever's in WD-40 can break down glue, I'm afraid it might also break down the resin. And obviously that's what we want to survive. Huh. Well, let me try one thing first. This will work. Alright. Worst case scenario, it melts the arm. And if it melts the arm, I definitely have to wait for the new fucking piece to arrive. Do not try this at home. Especially without a ventilator. I'm not doing this with a ventilator because I'm an idiot. Okay.